What's happening, everybody? It's Chris with Lone Wolf DIY. Check this closet out. Oh my God, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't document a lot of the steps, but I can't wait to show you guys how this turned out. Well, you can already see it right now, but I can't wait to show you guys the steps. So if you remember from our last episode, when we started this Airbnb, we started from the ground and we're going up. We started with Design Center and we said, we're gonna put our UDM Pro and our switch right here in our server closet, but we didn't want to just do any old server closet, man. We had to zazz it up a little bit. So I thought of this crazy cool, like geometric monolithic type thing that you can almost feel like you're in space. And I didn't want to just put a rack or something in there. I wanted to go along with the theme and I wanted to make it look like my badass UDM Pro and switch were floating. For as much as what's going on in this closet, it's amazing how minimal and clean it looks. And oh, I just love it. So man, stick around and check this out. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna be putting everything. It's a nice tucked away closet. That way we can also put supplies and things in here and lock it so it can't be tampered with. But I'm not just gonna set it up like this. I started painting it and I'm like, you know what, this really, really sucks. And then I came up with the coolest idea. I got the inspiration from another guy on YouTube, but this is gonna go from this ugly mess to hopefully something really, really unique and a lot of fun.
See all those wires? So I wanna split this wire right here and I wanna drop it down into this hole right here.
I want to put an outlet right here, and then I want to be able to run cables up there into the attic for the security system.
Okay, so I've got all my wires spliced up and I've got this gang box that designed so that way I just cut a square for it and then this little deal comes down and when I screw it in, it pulls it in tight and then that way I don't have to take all the drywall out and drive nails in. Now that's all that's left to do is to squeeze this into the hole and tighten it down and then get all my stuff ready to go. Okay, I'm gonna plug in my phone and see if I did it. Crossing my fingers. Yes! Try the other one. Okay. Yes! It took me all day just to get the parts for this thing, but it's ready to go. It fell off. Dude, come the fuck on. Son of a bitch. That's so fucking annoying. It's probably all the way down the bottom. Ooh, oh my God, dude. Can you believe that? Luckily, there's a fire block right here. It's a piece of wood to prevent fire from coming up inside the walls. And it was just in reach for me with these tongs here to get this out. I would have been so bummed if I couldn't finish this project over this stupid piece of plastic that I would not have been able to find anywhere. Wow, that works great, man. So it kind of works like a butterfly screw. You've got a piece on the inside that flips down onto the drywall. And then when you drive the screw in, it brings that in and sandwiches this all nice and tight there again, so you don't have to break open the drywall and nail it right to the stud. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut in a little box and that's gonna be for our Cat 5 cable. So that way we can hide it and run it up into the attic and nobody's gonna see it. It's gonna look really clean. So now I'm gonna set this up and I'm gonna make sure that the hole I cut is nice and level, but I'm gonna set this up on the drywall and then I'm gonna use my blade here to trace around the box. And that gives you a way closer, more accurate area to cut than it would if you were to use like a carpenter pencil. Because these pencils here, the lead can be up to 1/8 of an inch and it's being pushed off of the surface. Whereas this is nice and thin and you just follow it right along and you will get a very accurate hole to cut. This was the focal point. This is what I wanted. I wanted these to look like they were just kind of floating in space. Those are just some steel L brackets that you can get from the hardware store when you're like framing your house or something like that. Behind here is a bookcase on the other side and I ran through some bolts and some washers because it's very, very thin material. So if you put washers on there, you get a lot more grip instead of just like a screw head. And you don't see, there's no cabinet, there's nothing hanging down. So these right here are made out of 1x3. So think of like a hollow frame. And then I stretched over the front the black felt, like a speaker box or something like that. So hidden behind here is the water spout. I've got a 4-outlet plug, which was really difficult. That was the first thing I put in there, and it was a bit of a pain in the butt because I had to run electrical and splice it from the old 1953 wiring up in the attic. But it was an educational project. I love learning new stuff, and now I know how to do that. And I learned how to use these retrofit boxes that are really cool. And I also used the same box, and I cut out the back end and I put that up top, and that acts as a tunnel for my Cat 5s and my auxiliary cable. Is it an auxiliary cable? Yeah, that. So I've got my auxiliary cable, my Cat 5s, and I've got my power cables from the UDM Pro and the switch running behind the black felt there and down into a power supply down below. So if I decide I want to put up a new camera and Ubiquiti has some new stuff, hey, cool, I'm going to purchase that camera, and when it gets here, all I got to do is plug it in and adopt it into my existing network, and it's good to go. So for a small project right here in this house, plugging in that camera and having it automatically integrated into my entire complex network is absolutely amazing. But this is just my tiny house. If you could imagine like a hospital or a school or like an airport or something like that, and you have an entire wing that you got to hook up to your network and it just seamlessly connects on its own, this is worth it. It's worth every penny. Just like how much time I spent on this closet. It's just gorgeous. You got this like space gray right here. Oh, it's so pretty. Anyway, but I love it. I just love just standing here in the hallway and staring at it. I was gonna put the door back on, but now I don't think I'm gonna do that. We got a lot more to go on the Airbnb, and I'm starting to really come up with some good ideas. So in the master bedroom, I'm making it kind of like a cool like cowboy room. I found this really awesome Western bed set, and I was like, hey, why not? So I'm gonna do the floor to make it look like flagstone, to make it look like you're outside. And then I've got that record reading room that I'm very excited to get working on, but people keep outbidding me on record collections. I won one record collection, but it's just a bunch of like dance hall stuff from like the 1920s, and who the hell wants to listen to that shit? I do.
All right, everybody, that was so much fun. Thanks for stopping by. I love seeing your face. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification thing in the corner, because we are only scratching the surface of our Airbnb build. We're hooking up our APs because I need that Wi-Fi signal. I have 0 broadbands in here. I have no LTE because my trashy ISP. I wish I had those APs up earlier, because when I was hooking up my doorbell transformer inside that closet, I had no cell phone reception. I had no Wi-Fi capabilities. I had to run out into the street like it was the 90s, check out the video on YouTube, try to remember all the instructions, and then run back in there and do it. Didn't work out very good. So I can't wait for everybody to be able to experience these APs that come and stays at the house. You will have such good reception. You won't have any kind of interruptions with the stuff you're streaming. If you want to FaceTime your family in another country or whatever, you're going to have great broadband to do that. And also, we're going to be setting our security cameras back up because, you guessed it, my neighbor caught a creeper in the backyard. You probably didn't guess that. But unfortunately, she has an inferior camera company. Even though she subscribes to them, they will only record so much footage. At one time, I had a PTZ camera set up there, and if you're not sure what the PTZ camera is, make sure to check out my Lone Wolf DIY channel, because we did an episode where I installed it, I did a little unboxing and all that, and I even showed you guys how to find your kitty cat with infrared technology in the dark. We had the G4 bullets, now we're going with the G4 Pros, and I cannot wait to get that rocking on because the camera quality is so amazing. So unlike over there, we're going to know exactly who it is. We can see their license plate. We're going to be able to see what shirts they're wearing, if they're wearing glasses, what kind of drugs they're doing. So if you guys were here on the last episode, we started this entire build with Design Center. So I'm going to be setting up all the equipment, the cameras and everything in the spots that we talked about on that episode. But more than likely, I'm going to want to move the cameras around, and I might even find a much better position for any of the equipment. And what's really great about Design Center is that you can go on there and make all of your adjustments you need to live. And keep in mind, this is a small scale build. So if you have like a college or a school or a big ass house or something like that, then you can update all of your stuff. You know where it is, and you can take care of that yourself. It's so easy to do, especially because you can scan the star display on your UDM Pro. It's going to give you augmented reality, and we're going to know, just in case we need to move some stuff, we'll know exactly what camera is plugged into what port. That blows my mind. It's amazing. I love it. It's such a cool feature. So if you can imagine, you've got a case of like 48 PoE switches. Oh, are you going to unplug them? Like, it's like trying to check the fuses in the house. Like you have your partner outside and they like turn one off and you're like, that was the kitchen. And of course, we got all kinds of little fun things in between. I'm doing lots of really fun painting. I'm trying to keep it interesting. Also, what's really, really neat is I've been a window installer for a very long time. And the windows that were here, if you take a look at the last episodes, you'll see that they're just a boring commercial gray. And what I've done is I took 2 rattle cans for $15 and I turned it into copper. And I want to show you guys how to do that, because we're also setting up our cowboy room. Yes, our cowboy room. I went to an estate sale. I got all this really cool cowboy furniture to set up in there, so I'm gonna go with the theme, and I'm gonna do concrete floor and make it look like flagstone. So right now we're on a skim coat, we got that underlayment, and that's gonna be our grout lines. Then we're gonna do our texture coat, and we're gonna color it, seal it, and decorate, and you gotta make sure to stick around, man. Make sure to come back. Please like and subscribe, hit that notification button in the corner. Thanks everybody for checking out the channel. Have a nice day.
I've got my Einstein hair on right now because if you don't think this is totally kick-ass, then you must be MC squared.